is Jesse Nevel, and I'm running for mayor of St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that Rick Baker and Rick Kreisman would not stand before you and say, "Uhuru." Thank you. So I really want to thank Eritha Akile Kenyon, and it's been an honor to be on this campaign trail with the next City Councilwoman of District 6. And I also really want to thank the Florida Green Party for hosting this convention today and for asking us to speak, and Jennifer Sullivan, Bruce Wright, Jeff and Rose Roby, and so many other people in the Green Party, especially in Pinellas County, who were the first to endorse our campaign. And then so I just really want to unite with the point, with everything that Akile said, and specifically the point about reparations, and the fact that reparations has to be the centerpiece of any progressive agenda, of any progressive movement in this country and in the city of St. Petersburg. And my platform is called Unity Through Reparations. Unity Through Reparations. And in many ways, reparations is sort of the litmus test for whether you are an agent of the status quo or whether you are a progressive or a so-called radical or even a revolutionary. And in order to be a pawn of the status quo, you have to pass the test of not being in favor of reparations. In the first debate, Barack Obama was asked, and he was the first candidate to jump out the gate and say, "No, I am not in favor of reparations to the Black community." And even Bernie Sanders, the so-called socialist, the so-called revolutionary, explicitly said, "No, I am not in favor of reparations to the Black community." He said, because it's a non-starter, it will never happen. So I don't know how you can call yourself a socialist, which supposedly means that you believe in the redistribution of the wealth to the world's people, to the workers. Or how you can be a socialist, which supposedly means that you believe the workers should reclaim the value of their labor, and then oppose the ultimate redistribution of the wealth, the ultimate reclamation of the value of workers' labor, which is reparations. So I have failed the status quo test right from the beginning, because reparations is not merely a point on my platform, it is my platform. It's unity to reparations. And I really want to appreciate the Green Party, because I have read the Green Party platform, and the Green Party platform does speak to the question of reparations, and I want to salute you for that. And just say that it is consistent with your platform and with your principles that the Pinellas County Green Party has come on board this campaign, because this campaign is about reparations to the Black community. And something I'm sure you're used to hearing, people have asked us, well, oh, this is sort of like a protest thing, right? Or you're trying to make a point. Yeah, the point is to win. Yeah. The point is to win the election. If we were doing this for any other reason, we would tell you. We would say we're doing this to make a statement, and that's why we're going to do this, this, and this, so we can make this statement and raise these issues. We're going to do all of that. We're going to do all of that so we can win. So we can win. That's the point. So we're very serious about winning, and we know it's not going to be easy. We have to beat them on the ground game. We don't have the big money. We don't have the media on our side, certainly. The corporation known as the Tampa Bay Times has already made itself an enemy, declared itself an enemy of the people and of this movement. In fact, they don't even talk about our campaign. They've already decided on behalf of the people. The election hasn't even happened yet. And the Tampa Bay Times has decided this is the battle of the Ricks. Rick versus Rick. They don't mention that there is another option on the ballot. They've decided for the people that it's going to be between these two stooges of the status quo who represent the exact same interests of gentrification, of big development at the expense of the Black community and at the expense of the neighborhoods of the city of St. Petersburg. And Akile talked about these two Ricks. And by the way, these guys they're both ex-mayors. Rick Kreisman is the incumbent. His claim to fame is that he leaked 256 million gallons of raw, untreated sewage, first into the Black community, then into the Tampa Bay at large, and then lied about it many, many times on TV, covered it up, did absolutely nothing, took no responsibility for solving this problem, blamed it on previous mayors, blamed it on climate change. Just a few months before the storm happened and the leak started, Kreisman's administration shut down the fourth sewage plant in the city of St. Petersburg because real estate speculators had dollar signs in their eyes and were slobbering over the possibility of building condos on that land. So Kreisman shut down the sewage plant. 2 months later, 256 million gallons of sewage later, he blames it on climate change. Climate change didn't shut down the Albert Wooded sewage plant. Rick Kreisman and his big money interests do that. Yeah. So this is that's what you got on one hand. Then on the other hand, you have Rick Baker, the tent slasher.
Yes.
Everyone's seen that video.
Yes. Yes.
Homeless people sleeping in tents in a park. And he sends in the St. Petersburg police to slash their tents in the cold. This guy is running for mayor again. He was already mayor for 8 years. He is the architect of everything that Kreisman is implementing right now. In fact, when Kreisman ran, he ran on the promise that he would be like Baker. And he has stuck to that promise, much to the expense of the black community and the people of St. Petersburg.
That's right.
So the two Ricks is what we're up against. And we see this battleground in District 6, 9 candidates. 9 candidates, only one candidate who represents the interests of the people.
Yes.
Only one candidate that's calling for reparations to the black community. Only one candidate that's calling for black community control of the police. Only one candidate that said the Tropicana field must go back to the black community to build affordable housing and economic development. That's Akile is the one. And you have these 8 other vultures that are swooping in to try to gobble up a piece of this pie of District 6. This is not just a typical election. This is literally a battle for the future of the black community of St. Petersburg. It is a battle between the forces that would erase the black community through gentrification, bring this beyond the point of no return, and the forces who would stand for the self-determination and political and economic power of the black community. That's what this race is about. The other thing that people have said within Kreisman's camp especially, and affiliated with the Democratic Party, is that our campaign, and I'm sure this is another one Green Party people have heard many times, that we split the progressive vote. They said, somebody recently accused us of being funded by the Baker campaign. And we don't have enough money for you to make that accusation. But even still, their point is that by running, we're taking votes away from Kreisman. I don't have any problem with doing that. Because usually there is no progressive option on the ballot, so people who consider themselves progressive, they go with the lesser of two evils. Finally, we don't have to do that in this election. So yeah, we're going to take votes away from Kreisman. We're also going to excite and mobilize tens of thousands of people who normally don't vote, which is most people in the city of St. Petersburg. Why would you go vote for one of these guys?
Right.
There's nothing to vote for. There's nobody representing the interests of the people.
Right.
So it's not really splitting the progressive vote. It's providing an opportunity for there to be a progressive vote. If anything, Kreisman splits the progressive vote by presenting himself as a false progressive.
Yes.
By promoting gentrification, sewage leaking, poisoning the environment, poisoning the water, under the false banner of being a progressive. He's splitting the progressive vote. But he's done for it. He's damaged goods.
Yay.
We're going to win. We're going to
Yay.
go down. The other thing they say is Kreisman, or they say Jesse Nevel's campaign, that's not viable. That's not a viable alternative. These are the same people who thought Hillary Clinton was viable.
Hey.
And look where that got them. You will get Rick Baker if you go with Kreisman. We can beat Baker's ass.
Yes.
In fact, the founder and leader of the Uhuru movement already did it. In 2001, Chairman Omali Yeshitela ran for mayor in 2001, and Baker lost every black and mixed precinct in the city of St. Petersburg to the chairman of the African People's They say, we have no experience. Actually, we're the only candidates with experience organizing amongst the people. We're the only candidates with experience. We're the only candidates that have experience organizing for social justice in the city of St. Petersburg, being out in the community, seeing the two St. Petersburgs, one existing at the expense of the other, seeing the horrible conditions of police violence, seeing the murder of Dominique Bao, Ashanti Butler, and Lanaya Miller by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, and marching in the streets of the city, demanding justice for those 3 drowned black girls. Seeing the fact that on every single door that we knock on in predominantly black areas, people can't vote because their rights have been stripped from them because of prior felony convictions, a double jeopardy assault on their basic democratic rights. We have seen that. We have been out amongst the people. That's the experience that motivates us. Not being in Tallahassee or in corporate boardrooms or working for Bill Edwards, like Rick Baker. The other thing is they'll say they're going to try to use the Uhuru connection. The Uhuru candidates. Damn right I'm an Uhuru candidate. If you look at the city of St. Petersburg, the only growth, the only progress, the only development are those programs that have been set in place by the Uhuru movement under the leadership of the black working class. That is the spearhead of progress in the city of St. Petersburg. Finally, this is the newest one. I really like this one. They'll say, he doesn't have the skills. He doesn't have the skills to manage the 4th largest city in the city of St. Petersburg. Apparently the guy who just leaked sewage water into the bay has the skills. But I don't have the skills. And they say, how are you going to manage 3,000 employees? What they mean is, how are you going to be efficient at exploiting 3,000 workers? Here's how we'll manage it. How we'll manage the 3,000 workers' power. The workers can manage themselves. The workers should have power. $15 an hour, yes, good, at minimum. But beyond that, power. So the reason why they throw these things out, not viable, not experienced, not skilled, is because they can't touch our platform. We obviously have the most progressive platform on the ballot, and they know that we can win. They know we can win. We have to know we can win. We have to have as much confidence as our enemies do that we can kick their asses. They know the people are coming. They know the people are coming for victory and to sweep away these criminals from City Hall, to flush them down the toilet the way Kreisman couldn't flush the sewage. We are coming for victory. And the platform, again, it starts with reparations to the black community. But it's not like reparations is point number 1 and then we can move on to the other stuff. Reparations is actually point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to 20. Because reparations is the process through which we solve every other problem that we face in the city of St. Petersburg. Every problem in the city stems from the fact that we live in a city whose political economy rests on the backs of exploited African people. That is the foundation of the entire city, of every contradiction that you see in the city, of the glut of high-rise condos that are popping up in downtown, that are pricing people out of their neighborhoods, that are making it impossible. So many people that I've spoken with who can't even afford to live in this city anymore, that have lived there for generations. It all comes from that foundation. So through reparations, through seeing a city, in a city where the black community has political and economic power, you won't see police brutality. You won't see that. You won't see homelessness. You won't see tent slashing. You won't see the criminalization of the homeless population. You will see a city where it is understood that housing is a human right. You won't see sewage leaked in the water. You won't see big development at the expense of the people. You won't see workers being intimidated and harassed as under the current administration. They talk about how you're going to manage the workers. The workers hate Rick Kreisman. We've spoken to a lot of them. They hate him. He's horrible. He's a tyrannical boss that threatens and intimidates and harasses them on a daily basis. You won't see that in a city, in a reparations-centered city. You won't see the abuse of the LGBT community, of veterans, of seniors, of women, or of anybody else in a city that is united through reparations to the Black community. So I want to close by saying, Baker's little slogan is the seamless city. He talks about making St. Pete a seamless city. And this is kind of the jargon they use. We're going to have a united, seamless city. But you don't get to just do that because it sounds nice. After decades upon decades of racial division and police murder and gentrification and all of these horrible conditions inflicted on the Black population, it's not like now we all just hold hands and walk into the sunset. The path to true unity is reparations. Yeah. That is the path to principled unity, to principled unity in the city of St. Petersburg. So thank you all so much for being here, and please join this campaign. This is a people's movement, and just like in the struggle in Vietnam, the US dropped 700 million bombs on the people of Vietnam, but the Vietnamese won. Sign up, KeyLakeForDistrict6.com, and get involved in this campaign through reparations.
Everybody get cards? Yes.